Have you ever felt like life is an endless battle, a constant fight, a never-ending struggle where you keep trying, keep pushing, but somehow it never feels like it's enough? Maybe you're sitting there right now in the stillness of a quiet afternoon, wondering why you keep spinning in the same cycle: effort, failure, hope, and then despair. But stop right now. I want to whisper a truth into your mind, a truth few people ever speak aloud. Life is not a battle, it's a game. And you can learn to play that game with freedom, ease, and joy once you begin to understand the spiritual laws that govern your inner world. Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman far ahead of her time, once said that life is not a struggle between people, but an inner journey. A journey where everything you receive is a reflection of what you've already sent out through your words, your beliefs, and the images you hold in your mind. Picture this. You're sitting at a quiet cafe in New York. Across the table is an old friend, and they lean in to tell you, "I once joked, I wish I could take a whole month off from work and not deal with anyone. And then, out of nowhere, I got into a car accident. I was out of work for almost 2 months, lying alone in a hospital bed." Maybe you've heard stories like that. Maybe you've lived one. Because the subconscious doesn't joke, it only obeys. So here's the question. Are you playing the game of life unconsciously, or are you playing it on purpose? Because in any game, if you don't know the rules, you lose. But if you do know the rules, everything changes. And the first rule, it's what Florence called the great law of return. The spiritual principle found in every religion, every philosophy, and in everyday life. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. In the next part, we'll explore what this really means, and why every word you speak, every thought you entertain, every mental picture you hold is quietly shaping your reality. You'll begin to see that you are not a victim. You are the creator of your life, moment by moment, silently and powerfully. So if you're ready to see life through an entirely new lens, as a magical game, where you are the player, where you can move with grace and deep trust, then keep walking with me. Because what Florence Scovel Shinn taught isn't meant to be just read, it's meant to be lived. And that journey begins now. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a garden holding a bag of seeds. Each seed represents a thought, a word, or an action you've planted, some intentionally, others unconsciously. And everything you're living today is the harvest from a season you once sowed. It's a subtle truth, but an incredibly powerful one. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Florence Scovel Shinn didn't quote this biblical line as a moral command, but as an unbreakable law of spirit of creation and of the game of life. You might think, but I never planted suffering. I never wanted failure. But seeds aren't just sown in what you do. They're hidden in what you think, what you say, and what you believe about the world and yourself. I remember a woman once shared she used to constantly complain that people around her were fake, critical, and unkind. She believed she was misunderstood, isolated, and unloved. So what happened? Every new relationship, co-workers, neighbors, even friends ended in conflict and disappointment. Not because of dramatic events, but simply because the energy she radiated silently called in experiences that matched her inner beliefs. Because the laws of the universe are always fair, not according to emotion or will, but according to vibration and core belief. If you sow doubt, you'll encounter more reasons to doubt. If you sow love, you'll begin to receive softer eyes and genuine smiles in return. Florence emphasized, it's not about trying to be good. It's about becoming more conscious of the seeds you're planting in every moment. Every time you say, "I never catch a break," you're planting a command into your subconscious. Every time you speak a harsh word, even in jest, you're signaling the universe. Send me more of that. Pause for a moment and reflect. When was the last time you criticized someone's appearance or called someone stupid? What happened afterward? Did you find yourself in a situation days later where you were embarrassed or judged? That's not karma as punishment. It's reflection, so you can learn the lesson. And conversely, have you noticed how, When you sincerely wish someone success or quietly send a blessing to someone in pain, your heart lightens, the atmosphere softens, and something good suddenly finds its way to you. My friend, you are a player in the game of life, and every thought you think, every word you speak, is a move on the board that shapes your entire game. Try something simple today. When you feel the urge to judge, turn it into a quiet blessing. When you want to complain, replace it with a gentle affirmation. Watch what happens. And if you want to not only sow well, but also reap right, you must learn to master imagination, the miraculous tool Florence will explore in the next section. Before we move on, I invite you to share your experience. Have you ever received something in life that matched exactly what you once unknowingly sowed? Write it in the comments so we can all reflect and grow together. Because connection is the first step toward healing. When you realize you're not alone, you begin to believe that change is possible. Here's a truth you need to etch into your heart. You cannot create what you have not first seen with the eye of the mind. Florence once wrote, "The imaging faculty is the beginning of all miracles." And she didn't mean that metaphorically. It's a core spiritual truth. Imagine yourself sitting in a quiet room, eyes closed, visualizing the life you dream of, not vaguely, but vividly, as if you're seeing it with your inner vision. You in a cozy home, embraced by someone you love, glowing with health, laughter, rising from a heart at peace. That's not just a dream. That's intentional sowing, where the seeds of imagery begin to bloom into your reality. Florence once spoke of a man who constantly imagined himself sick. He talked about it, envisioned hospital scenes, pain, even loss. And sure enough, not long after, it became real. As if life simply obeyed the command issued by his imagination. Most of us unknowingly use imagination to paint worst-case scenarios, filling our minds with anxiety, fear, and dread. And like that man, we end up living those images out loud. But what happens when we use that same power intentionally, positively, and with trust? Let me tell you a true story. A young woman in San Diego, after reading The Game of Life, decided to play with her imagination, the way Florence taught. She wanted a meaningful job near the ocean, with a kind boss and creative freedom. Each night before bed, she spent a few quiet minutes visualizing it clearly, sitting in a sunlit office windows, open to the sea breeze-friendly co-workers, her boss smiling as he admired her design work. And the miracle. Within 21 days, she got an unexpected interview. A small design firm right by the beach reached out. Every detail matched her vision. This wasn't luck. It was the law of mental imagery. Once you hold a picture in your mind with clarity and emotion, your subconscious begins to attract and reassemble your reality to match it. The key is this: you don't just see with your eyes, you see with belief and vibration. The subconscious doesn't speak language, it responds to image and feeling. So ask yourself, what are you imagining every day? Do you see a radiant, free-loving version of yourself? Or do you keep replaying scenes of debt failure, heartbreak? If you want a fresh start, begin tonight. Just 3 minutes. Visualize clearly what you most desire, not just in material things, but in feelings. Imagine yourself living in peace and ease, as if the best has already arrived. Then write in the comments below, what will I imagine today? Because sharing it helps imprint it deeper into your subconscious. And who knows, your vision might inspire someone else to begin theirs. We're not just watching a video here. We're relearning how to play the game of life with awareness, ease, and love. In the next part, I'll walk you through the structure of the mind's 3 levels and why some visions bloom while others fade. Because not every prayer reaches the fertile ground of the subconscious unless you know how to access the right level of awareness. And I believe, once you understand, that you'll hold the golden key to manifesting any dream you desire. There's a beautiful saying, the human mind is like a garden. The conscious mind is the gardener. The subconscious is the soil. And the superconscious is the divine seed gifted from the universe. When Florence Scovel Shinn taught about the 3 levels of the mind, she wasn't offering abstract theory. She was handing us a map to navigate out of the inner maze and into a life of clarity, healing, and purpose. Level 1. The conscious mind. This is the part we use daily logic analysis, fear, judgment, worry. It's the voice in your head whispering, "That will never happen," or "You're not good enough." But here's the truth. The conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. It does not determine your results alone. Level 2. The subconscious mind. This is where the real creating happens. The subconscious is fertile ground. It accepts every image, word, and emotion you repeat. And it doesn't judge right or wrong. It simply records and obeys. If you tell it daily, "I always fail," it will go to work, making that your reality. But if you begin to feed it loving words and healing visions, it will equally go to work, manifesting them quietly but powerfully. Florence shared the story of a woman who remained ill for years despite medical treatments. Eventually, it became clear every morning she would say things like, "I'm always tired, I'll never feel better." When she changed her words to, "I am healed in divine perfection, I am strong, I am vibrant," her body began to respond. Level 3. The superconscious mind. This is the highest level, what Florence called the divine blueprint, the sacred intelligence of your life. It is untouched by past conditioning. It speaks through intuition, quiet inner knowing, and soul-led desires. Even when you've forgotten who you are, it remembers. Have you ever felt an unexplainable belief that your life was meant for something more? That's the superconscious whispering. There is a higher way. I remember a student named Claire from Colorado. After a painful divorce and job loss, she felt disconnected from herself. She didn't discover Florence through books, but through a podcast that said, "Let the superconscious guide you." That night, she placed her hand on her heart and said, "Dear superconscious, show me the next step to return to myself." Then she slept. The next morning, almost magically, she received an email from an old friend inviting her to work at a local art studio. Painting had been her passion since childhood. Claire said, "I couldn't believe it. I didn't push. I didn't plan. I surrendered. And what was right found me." Florence's message is this: let your conscious mind be the gatekeeper, choosing to focus on truth, not fear. Let your subconscious be the faithful engine, manifesting what you repeatedly feed it. And let your superconscious be the master architect, always guiding you to the highest version of your life. Right now, ask yourself, which level am I living from? Am I letting my conscious mind run wild with doubt, fear, control? Or am I learning to soften, to trust, to listen for the deeper voice? And I invite you to share in the comments. Have you ever followed a strange intuition that led to something unexpectedly beautiful? Write it down to remind yourself that you also have access to your superconscious. This community isn't just a place to watch videos. It's a place to be seen, to be inspired, and to remember you are not alone in your awakening. In the next part, we'll explore something Florence constantly emphasized. Don't demand what you think you want. Choose what aligns with your soul, because sometimes what you're asking for is far less than what the superconscious truly wants to give you. We were taught from a young age that if you want something, you have to fight hard for it. Make a plan. Set goals, hold on to it, as if your life depends on it. But Florence Scovel Shinn offered something that sounds almost contradictory. Do not try to force life into your mold. Let the best unfold on its own. Take Helen, for example. She dreamed of landing a very specific job at a prestigious company with that title, that salary, that location. She visualized it daily, made a vision board, repeated affirmations. But month after month, nothing happened. She became exhausted, disappointed, and started doubting herself. Did I do something wrong? Maybe I'm not worthy, she wondered. Then, one crisp autumn morning, she sat in a park and read a line from The Game of Life. Stop begging for what you want. Declare instead, I welcome what is right, perfect, and aligned with my soul in the most divine way. She cried. That moment, Helen released her rigid expectations and opened herself to something better than she had imagined. And just weeks later, she received an unexpected offer from a non-profit, something not even on her list, yet it moved her heart deeply. The role not only matched her skills, but also gave her a sense of deep purpose. She realized this is what her soul truly wanted, not status, but connection and service. You see, we often beg for something specific, believing it's the best. But what you want isn't always what's right. Florence called this the God plan, a higher plan born not from fear, but from love. When you stop gripping, when you stop demanding life unfold your way, your energy softens. The divine intelligence. The superconscious finally has room to move. And from that surrender, something magical happens. You shift from being a controller to becoming a co-creator. You stop pushing your plans and start living from the guidance of your soul. Try declaring Florence's powerful affirmation, I no longer want this at all costs. I welcome what is best for me in divine time, in divine way. And then, life becomes gentler. Closed doors no longer crush you because you understand if it didn't open, it wasn't meant for your soul. Take a moment to reflect. Is there something you've been clinging to? A relationship, an opportunity, an old dream? I invite you to share in the comments I once held on too tightly. And something better came when I let go. When you tell your story, you'll see more clearly the power of surrender and trust. This community is a space to rekindle faded faith, to be supported through transformation, and to be reminded you don't need all the answers. You just need to know you are being guided. In the next and final part, I'll walk you into Florence Scovel Shinn's most essential teaching. Your word is your wand. You'll see why every miracle doesn't begin out there. It begins with what you speak right here. If you're looking for something that can completely change your life, without money, without waiting, without needing anyone's permission, Florence Scovel Shinn would say, start with your words. Because in the spiritual world, words aren't just sound. They are frequencies, activation codes, direct commands to the subconscious. The realm that brings your words into form and reality. Maybe you've carelessly said things like, my life is always a mess. I never get lucky. I'm probably going to fail. And just like that, as if whispered into the ears of the universe, they came true. Florence once said, words may destroy, and words may heal. Words may bind, and words may free. The wise one chooses words as carefully as they would choose seeds. And the miracle. You can undo the damage. Even if you've spoken negative seeds, you can cancel them with a simple, powerful act of rewording. Emily, a primary school teacher, shared her story. She used to joke constantly, I'll be broke forever. But after reading Your Word is Your Wand, she made a choice. Every time she caught herself saying something limiting, she didn't beat herself up. She simply corrected it. I cancel that. I misspoke. I am becoming more prosperous every day. Within weeks, she got a raise and received a surprising gift from a distant relative she'd never met. Emily wrote, I'm no longer afraid of my words. I'm using them to work miracles. You see, your words are the highest power you've always held. And when you combine words with sincere emotion and unwavering belief, they become living prayers. Starting today, you can choose a new vocabulary. Instead of, I don't know what to do, say I am being clearly guided. Instead of, I'm afraid I'll be late, say I'm always on time in divine timing. Instead of, I'm exhausted, say I'm healing, I am vibrant. Each sentence is a condensed form of belief. And if you'd like a magic wand phrase from Florence herself, try this one. All that is right, perfect and miraculous now comes to me in the most divine way at the perfect time. I invite you to comment below. What's one phrase you often catch yourself saying, and how would you rewrite it with higher energy? This is more than journaling. It's how we carve new pathways in our subconscious. This community is not here to judge you for your past, but to walk beside you as you rewrite your destiny, word by word, thought by thought. In the final conclusion, I'll weave everything together. Imagination, the 3 levels of mind, surrender, and the power of the word. These aren't just concepts, they're a spiritual roadmap for living the free, abundant, joy-filled life your soul was designed for. Dear soul, if you've made it all the way here, it means something deep within you has begun to awaken. Not the part of you that wants to control, but the part that is ready to surrender to divine wisdom. Along this journey, you've discovered the power of imagination, learned how the 3 levels of the mind work, practiced releasing expectations, and seen how words can become your wand of creation. But above all, Florence wanted you to remember this. You did not come here to struggle. You came to express the beauty of your soul through every thought, every word, and every conscious choice. Starting today, you can close your eyes and imagine a better life, not with logic, but with trust. Choose a healing affirmation and repeat it each morning as a sacred ritual. When you catch yourself speaking negatively, smile, cancel it, and rephrase with love. Listen more to intuition than overthinking. Believe that a higher power is guiding you, even if you can't yet see the path. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to begin, one small step at a time. And if you've ever felt lost, I want you to know you are not walking alone. We souls seeking light are here, connected, holding space for each other through every comment, every share, every knowing look beyond the screen. I invite you to comment below. What word or phrase will I choose to start again? What did I once let go of and receive something better in return? What is my superconscious whispering to me now? When you share, you're not just expressing, you're activating a new flow within yourself and this entire community. And if this video touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next chapter with Florence Scovel Shinn. This isn't just a YouTube channel, it's a sanctuary where you return to soul wisdom, where you remember you have the right to live the life your divine design intended for you. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and for choosing the light. I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive deeper into spiritual healing in relationships guided by the original teachings of Florence.